Sci-fi? Well, there's two types of sci-fi writing, or fantasy writing. You could merge fantasy into here too, because it's more like things that are out of our grasp. Sci-fi is easier to write because it's more like, imagine I say, like, I point at my a wheelie chair over here, like office chair, and it's like, it's a cybernetic wheelie chair, so it's like floats or something. But my understanding of that comes from my base knowledge of knowing what a chair is. If I go to prison and they bring me a bucket into the corner, I know what it's supposed to be used for. I know what I'm supposed to do to it. I see the similarities between a porcelain throne and the tin poop hamper that they've thrown me in here with, and how I'm supposed to use them both immediately. Dune is a very good example of this. For the beginning of Dune, it seemed like just any other sci-fi thing that I've watched before. I didn't really care much for it. I was like, okay, if Timothée Chalamet dies here, I don't really give a damn. But when Timothée Chalamet goes through that test or whatever, where he has that poisoning knife thing that would kill him in an instant, as told by his grandmother, I think. Well, it works because I have an understanding of what a knife is, and that putting it to your neck is not the best thing that could happen to you. But she also makes him stick his hand in this random box. And then he's like, what's this box? And he goes, the box is pain. So now I know, and now she says that the test is to keep your box in the pain box long enough so that you don't flinch or move really hard. This is made to test your strength, your endurance, so that you don't accidentally flinch out and swing yourself into the poison, the insta-killer. Same thing with the spaceships. It's a big structure in space. It has some engines going for it. It must be a spaceship, and we identify that pretty quickly. But through pop culture, we already know what a spaceship more or less would look like. But then there are the specific devices. I love these, especially the still suits. So you see, in Dune, the still suits are made so that you can go around the wasteland that is the Dune. That is, I forgot what it's called, but I'm just gonna call it the Dune, of course. The desert, of course. And what it does is it recycles your sweat into drinkable water, even your pee. And this is something that happens in real life with sewers. You know, sewers will recycle your pee, but I don't know about sweat. Isn't there that fact that's like every bottle of water you drank has gone at least through like 10 organisms at once? Probably one of them was a dinosaur. Crazy stuff, man. Things get very interesting when the Thumper device is introduced. It's a device that is to be pinned into the sand and will thump into the sand a vibration that is very rhythmic. This is all for the sandworms who are attracted to rhythmic things to come over. These thumpers are more than likely all the time used maliciously. There's a scene where one the Fremen, they're called, the natives of the Dune planet, forgot what it's called, is being ganged up by the Arrakis, which are the people who, not the Iraqis, Arrakis, the people of Arrakis who have invaded, and they're trying to get them. And you know, the Fremen dies, but they put down a thumper before, so then they all get devoured. But also the Fremen have developed this way of walking called sand walking, and it's a form of rhythmic walking. Hold up, let me do it right now. I'm getting off my bed. Like that. It's 2 slides and 2 hops. But most of all, it keeps the sandworms away. And, you know, now we're on the culture side of things. Like how people actually act, not just the devices. And it's this type of writing. If you ever asked for writing advice, you've always gotten the tip of write what you know. This is what writing what you know means. This person knows what rhythm is. People know what rhythm is. People know what plants are. People know what spaceships are. So yeah. Oh, I almost forgot. One of the coolest devices in Dune. It's like this force field thing, and it's like if you stab too deep into the force field, then it turns red, and then the person usually dies right after. It's used for training, but it's also used defensively. But what's even more interesting than that is that to combat this, the Fremen, the sand people basically, I was a little racist, but developed a dart that drills into people so that they can drill into the shield. And this also infers that they've fought off people who use the same technology before, so they know how to deal with it. They made the drill shooter thingy to deal with it, and it just goes deeper and deeper. It makes you think about this thing. It's like, how do they get a drill thing so fast? Amazing stuff. There's also the fact that the desert mutations have made them all have blue eyes no matter what, which is a little scary. So we have Zendaya with blue eyes. But yeah, if you have Netflix, the Dune goes off of Netflix on the 29th, so I recommend you watch it before it does that. A lot of people talk about Dune nowadays. The second movie's coming out actually 5 days after it gets off of Netflix, March 5th. So I recommend you guys watch that, and then you also watch this on the biggest screen as you can. But if you can't, I mean, just watch it anyway on like your computer or something. If you don't have a computer, just your phone, sadly. But it's 100% worth watching. There's a novel, it was based off of that, and things based off of novels are usually good. That's why The Great Gatsby is still spoken about today. It was just that good. But yeah. Also, subscribe. I don't have that many. And I mean, if you hear it, it's not going to be rhythmic, so it's going to be like, I remember it. I watched it and I remembered it. It was like that. It's 2 slides and 2 hops. But most of all, it keeps the sandworms away.